All right, guys, it's a month later. We didn't work the last weekend. Nick was here, which was 2 weeks ago. There was another event that we needed to participate in. So finally now, a month later, we brought the car in the garage. And the last time we took it out, it was pretty muddy outside. So Nick decided to make everything muddy here now. So now he has to... Now he has to clean because we need to paint. Hi, by the way. Anyway, since we work on this car not very often, every time we bring it in, at least I have to relearn where we were because I work on other projects in the meantime and I keep forgetting where we are. So it looks like we welded the rocker all the way and we prepared the patch for there that we can weld in place now. And we also have a patch for here. This one, if I remember correctly, it's still on Clickus, it's not matched. So we'll see how that's gonna work now. Maybe I'm gonna be working here, matching this patch perfectly, while Nick is welding there. So we have this prepared already. We just need to tack it and then Nick can start welding it very, very slowly so it doesn't warp. So that's it. Welcome to another episode of the 1994 Mazda Miata with Nick and Elin. Let's get crack-a-lacking. All right, so everything inside is painted. And even the hatch inside is painted. This is with, what is it called? Truck bed liner. And just a quick recap of how everything fits here. Last time I believe we took our time to make it nice and even. It also lines up here with a little step on the seal or rocker. And once it's welded and ground down, supposedly it's gonna be this line is going to be flush. So I believe we're ready to start welding it in place. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tack it everywhere and then Nicole is going to finish welding it and he's going to take his time. He's going to go very slow and he's going to wait for the weld to cool down and we're going to go from there. For here, we're not gonna drill holes for plug welds yet because this edge eventually we're gonna have to roll as well because we have wheels that are pretty offset and they're gonna touch here, so we're gonna have to roll this. So maybe after everything is welded everywhere, we can try to do something about the rolling. Maybe we can invent a tool. You know, they sell those rollers that you attach to your wheels and you go, maybe we can invent something like this and roll it and only then weld these, because if these two are welded, the rolling part becomes really hard. Not only they have to bend, but they have to slide a little bit from each other, you know. If these are the two layers, as you're bending them up, for sure they need to slide a little bit. So here, since these are welded, I don't know how it works. Well, I guess the metal stretches, but here, since it's not welded yet, we have the perfect possibility to roll them first and then weld them. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start tacking it from here, everywhere, here inside as well. Even here it is pretty good. So yeah, let's start with the tacking. So we remove the galvanizing from here because the galvanization produces bad gases when it's burning, so we remove that. All right, so we have it welded. We have it tacked. I tacked it all over the place, and now it lines up pretty well everywhere. The problem is, though, that I can already feel that it goes in and then it goes out again, and we have literally a valley here. It is normal here because we have it already from this side. Maybe I should change your angle. Okay, I don't know how well you see, but it is normal that we have a valley here, right? And it becomes smaller and smaller as we're coming here. But I believe at this point, we should have a perfectly flat panel. Not perfectly flat, but not going in, out, and then in again. So I was just telling Nicola that it would be great if we could planish it a little bit at some point. I don't know if it is a good idea to do it now or to do it later. I think we're gonna do a few more passes and then we're gonna try to planish it, you know, with the slapper and with a dolly underneath. Now, of course, we don't have access down there, but for this reason, we're gonna keep this open here. In the Triumph world, I'm known as the guy with the small hands. They're not very small, but apparently I'm known as the person with the small hands. But I can put my hand inside here. Up to here, I can put my hand with a dolly. Now I know this is not a great idea for here, so for this reason, I'm thinking even I can use this. I just found it on my bench. I have two of these rocker shafts for Triumph GT6 that I don't need anymore. And I'm thinking I might even weld one of these dollies here and shove it from underneath and try to push out while I'm planishing with the slapper. I don't know. We will see. That's why I'm thinking also to weld these together to make it longer so I can reach from far and I can even reach here. It's not too bad here, but here it's where it's driving me crazy. Anyway, so that's the reason why for now we're not gonna close it. We're gonna just clamp it here so it stays where it's supposed to be. And Nicola now is gonna start welding it. He's gonna take his time, but we don't wanna warp this like more than that. It's already a little bit sunk in. It's not that bad. We can fill it up with body filler, but if we can planish it a little bit, it's gonna be great. All right, so he's gonna start working there. In the meantime, I wanna see if I can make this work here. It needs a little bit more adjustment. We adjusted it last time, but it needs a little bit more adjustment here on this curve. Also, we said that here, this here is very sharp and it doesn't match our rocker here. And also, I want to take care of this. It is underneath, nobody's going to see it, but I want to see if I can shrink it a little bit. And I'm saying shrink because if we just straighten it, it's going to open. The reason for these wrinkles here is because of this curve here. So when it was stamped, this got compressed here and it wrinkled. It was supposed to shrink, but it didn't, it just wrinkled. So I want to shrink it. And how we can shrink it is on the English wheel. I know English wheel is meant to stretch, not to shrink, but you can also use it to shrink, and I'll show you how. So if we put the two wheels close together, now I have this one with pretty flat crown, it's almost no crown, and we're gonna put them close together without touching. So the way the metal gets stretched is by being compressed, right? The two wheels compress it and literally spread it apart. But if they don't touch, they cannot stretch it. They can just flatten it. So as they're flattening it, they will open this curve again a little bit, but we can bring it back, I'm hoping. But mostly they're gonna shrink. So you see it's pretty easy to go in now. But we can tighten it a little bit and keep going. So right now, I'm not stretching. So I'm just gonna go a little bit like this to see how flat it is, and it is actually pretty flat. It is good. It's much better than what it was. So now let's see how we're gonna deal with this. That's gonna be tricky. So I made this so we can use it as an end view. And let's see what we can do about this now. So this one here is okay to be pretty sharp, but this here is what we're interested in to make it smoother. So let's see. Yeah, it works already. Okay, I think that looks better. Let's see how it's gonna fit now. So much better now, rounded edge here, but I think now it is too low. I think now it needs to go higher because the peak of this rounded edge is much lower than the peak of this rounded edge. Like they're different shape, I know, but if it is a little bit higher, let me see. Yeah, I think that's how it needs to be. Nicole, what do you think? So, that's how we had it before, but now you see this rounded edge, rounded part here, it's much lower than this rounded part. So if we lift it by maybe 1/4 inch or something, I think that's much better.
But look below.
Here?
Yeah.
That we're gonna adjust. Don't worry about there. Just as a height-wise, I think this fits much better with this than this. I think we should raise it a little bit and make it like that. It's gonna be much better. Let's see how much that is. It's not 1/4 inch, but it's 3/16 maybe higher than where we were before. So I'm gonna cut this a little bit now, higher here and higher on this side. How are you doing there?
Are you recording?
A little bit. Just to show people that you're working every once in a while. Just for the camera.
Yeah, because you don't show my work
I don't show your work
sometimes.
because you never work.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, they're not moving anymore. I mean, they still can warp by moving in and out. That's what we're trying to avoid now, to make them go this way, but
How would we avoid that?
by not overheating it. By welding one tack here, one tack here, one tack here, one tack there. When you weld it, it is red hot, right?
Yeah.
That's when the metal expands.
Yeah.
Then when it cools down, it shrinks a little, but it doesn't shrink the same amount as if it's stretched. And then this metal has nowhere to go because it used to be 1 square inch, now it needs to be 1 inch and a quarter by 1 inch and a quarter, for example. So now where does this extra metal go? Either in or out. There's no way to go somewhere else. So that's why you shouldn't overheat it. By making a small dot, the difference is like few thousandths of an inch between how much it expanded and how much it shrunk. If you make a big overheated area, then it's going to expand a lot and it's going to shrink a lot, but the difference between how much it's expanded and shrunk is much bigger. And now this metal has nowhere to go. That's why you're doing a dot here, dot here, dot here, etc., etc. Okay, so I trimmed a little bit here actually, and here, and now I'm able to lift it higher. And actually, not only here it fits better now, but it also here, if I push this in, hold on. If I push this in, which is going to be pushed in by the bolts underneath, it actually fits much better. So I like it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect this and this with a straight line. We're going to cut it, and we're going to prepare this panel for welding too. Then we're going to position it here, and we're going to scribe a line, and we're going to cut this one as well, and then we're going to weld them together too.
Can you put it back here for a sec? No, like on the thing. There's a step here. Well, it looks bigger from...
It's not that big. We can always adjust this, how much it can go in and out. For now, I'm only worried about the height, because once we weld it here, we can't change the height anymore.
Yeah.
But once this is welded, and we know that it's not moving up and down anymore, then we can adjust here by pushing this in, and if we have to, we can grind a little bit more away of this and push it further in. All right, so he did a great job actually. I feel that it's not worked at all in this direction, and if there's a little bit of a valley here, it's not because of his welding, it's because of how they fit in the beginning, how I tacked them together. So I just showed him here a few areas where he still needs to make another tack, because there's a hole here, there's a, not a hole, but there's a gap between his welds. For example, here he needs to make 2 tacks, and I told him also to fill up the holes that we used to have for the clicos, and then he's gonna start grinding it. In the meantime, I'm dealing with the front still. I removed the stickers from inside, and now I'm gonna remove the galvanizing from here, from this edge where we're gonna weld. I still have to put it there and scribe a line and cut the metal that was overlapping, but then we're gonna tack it there in place, and then we're gonna remove the whole fender and weld it out of the car. This one doesn't need to be on the car, and this is gonna be a great candidate for planishing after, so we can make the weld nice, and then we're gonna have access on both sides, and we're gonna planish it, so hopefully this is gonna become nicer than all my other welds. But I have the feeling that this one is gonna be good too, because Nick did it, I didn't.
I haven't welded in like a month, so...
In like a month? Wow. All right, that actually works pretty well. I think it pulled out here where there was in a valley. Now it pulled out. It's really coming out really good. Now Nicole is hesitating here a little bit about the grinding, because he starts touching the metal and the top and the bottom, and it is tricky. So yeah, right here, this is very low. You can see between this and this point here, this is very low. So this is where we're gonna try to planish it out. But here it goes pretty well. Yeah, so there are some areas that we're gonna need to planish, but we're gonna figure it out. I'm actually happy. And in the meantime, I removed the paint from here, removed the galvanizing from here and here, and I cut this lip underneath. And now, when we line it up, we should be very close to, like we should be perfect with our go here, how it is, which we are. So I'm just gonna tack it. I'm gonna try to leave a bigger gap here. Maybe I can use my clamps here. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna use my clamps here that are gonna give me a better alignment. So here I can use these clamps to hold it where I want it. I'm gonna start welding it now. I'm gonna start tacking it, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna tack it in as many places as possible. And then we're gonna take the fender off the car, and Nick is gonna finish welding it, and I'm gonna go finish grinding there, because for him it is a little bit intimidating. So yeah, I'll see you soon. Okay, so I tacked it and I didn't like the gap here. So I cut all my tacks. I had 6 tacks, so I cut them all, and now I retacked it in a better place. So now at this stage we can take it out of the car and we can finish welding it on the bench. Now we are able to put a dolly behind, and if we want to, we can planish our welds here. I know with MIG welding it's not very easy to planish your welds. With TIG it's much easier, but even with MIG it works. So we're gonna try to do it on the bench. We're gonna try to keep it level all the way and not create a valley here. So let's do that. Okay, on the bench it's so much easier. And when you have access to top and bottom, it actually works pretty well with planishing. Even if after I weld them, if they don't line up perfectly around the weld, after I planish it a little bit with the dolly underneath and a hammer on the top, it comes back to perfectly straight, perfectly aligned. So Nick is gonna finish welding this, and then maybe he will grind it too, because it's gonna be easier here because it's curved. In the meantime, I'm gonna go and grind this, because here it is the same, but here we have a valley. So here, where's the straight edge? Yeah, okay. So here you see how the weld is deep inside. So here it's okay, but here it's sunk. Yeah, we're gonna work it out a little bit, no worries. Okay, so it's ground, and unfortunately the feeling that I had that it straightened itself out, it was fake. It's obviously like really low. Like it's normal that it makes this curve, but it needs to be much smoother. Here we have a valley. You can clearly see that even if we use a rounded part here, a little bit rounded part of the dolly, still the weld is lower. So I welded the shaft together, and Nick welded them actually, but I don't want to raise this, so I can put the shaft inside. Plus when I put it here, it damages this curve. I already bent it here a little bit, so I don't like that. So I'm thinking of drilling a hole here to put the shaft in, and then later we can weld it. It's inside, not a problem. We can just weld a piece of metal there. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. Okay, so he finished welding this and grinding it, and it is actually pretty good. I'm happy. This one worked really well. He even welded it here and he ground it. So this one he did almost on his own. I just tacked it initially, and then I helped him a little bit with the grinding. Oh, and I did a little bit of planishing. So there was some help from me, but it was mostly him. Next one, he's gonna tack himself. Anyway, and here, this is where I stand. I managed to bring it up a little bit with that shaft. I don't know why I thought that I can drill a hole here and shove the shaft this way. It turns out there's an obstacle here in the back, so this hole turned out to be useless. But I was able, let me show you what I was doing. I was able with the long shaft to shove it from here and a little bit to the time. I don't know if you see here how it moves, and push a little bit here, then move. Now I'm lifting right here, and again. Now right here there is a low spot under the weld where actually I had this bent up, So that's why I created this low spot here, and I have no way of putting anything there underneath. So unfortunately I can't do anything about it. Anyways, we're gonna weld it here now. We're gonna finish this side, and then at the end, if we have to, with the stinger, we're gonna weld a few studs here, and we're gonna pull a little bit. This bends so easy, it's crazy, but now so much better here. There's still a little bit of a valley, but it is like within the normal. If I had access from behind to put a normal dolly, it was gonna planish really well, but still I'm happy with where it is now. Anyways, there's a high spot right here, which we're gonna have to shrink with the shrinking disc. And of course at the end there's gonna be a little bit of a body filler. Anyways, so let's do this next. We need to close the door, position it. It needs to come out a little bit, but even this, the old piece, is a little bit low. Maybe we should move the striker a little bit, because I don't like how the door lines up. You see, it's a little bit out even here. So, that's how it needs to be. Okay. And now it lines up here too. So I'm gonna move the striker. Moved a little bit, but it's still a little bit out here in this area, which is the original. I'm gonna try a little bit more. Yeah, that's the limit. Yeah, still a little bit out, but it's the same distance, but it's out here just as much as it is out here. So we can just weld this where it is right now. That's good. What are you?
I'm tired.
What are you?
I'm tired.
Tired? Only 7 hours. In only 7 hours and he got tired. Anyway, so this is where we stand. I welded this here, tacked it, and it's not too bad. It's gonna be tricky to grind here inside, but we're gonna figure it out. We even tacked it here, and it looks like it is gonna be, it's not gonna be very flush. The two surfaces are not gonna be very flush, but it's gonna take a little bit of body filler to make it smooth. The step that they left on the rocker wasn't deep enough. I mean, it's not as deep as the thickness of the metal. Anyways, I think we are good here. This is gonna go up. So I think it looks good. And the front fender, so it looks like a car again. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today though. We're gonna come back tomorrow and finish the rest. All right, so it's the next day and it is actually already afternoon because we had to go somewhere with Nicole this morning, but we're back now and we have a few more hours before he needs to go to his mom tonight. So he's currently changing and he's gonna come soon, and I'm gonna get him to do all the welding here. We're gonna fill this gap, but we're not gonna weld here because we're gonna leave it like original, and then he's gonna weld all the way to here, and we're gonna see how we're gonna grind it after. We also have to repair this hole now that I made, and we have to weld all the way down here, which we'll see how we're gonna do that as well. And the last is here, but I don't think we're gonna do this now because I want to see what we're gonna do about rolling the fenders. So this welding we're gonna leave for when the fenders need to be rolled. So that's what he's gonna do, and in the meantime here we're not done in the front. I want to do this repair here because in the fender I have another little repair. So I'm gonna clean it up here and we will see if it is going to be easier to take it to the bench and repair it or how. Also here in the front there are dents and stuff, so we're going to remove the paint from here and we're going to see, maybe we're going to take it to the bench so we can tap this out, see what's going on here. But this fender is almost done. The other one is really bad. I mean, it's been crushed, so it's anyway, that part we know we need to be replaced, but here also there's lots of dents and ins and outs, and anyway, but I'm hoping that today, by the end of the day, we're gonna be able to call this side completed, so next time when Nick comes we can turn the car around and start working on the other side, which is really exciting because it's been a while since we started, and now this is like a milestone. We call this one side done, so I'm really hoping to call it done tonight. There's another repair that we need to do here inside this, but we will consider this front end anyway. So this we can do from inside. From here we're gonna weld it, so not a problem, and it's not gonna be considered part of this side. So there's a strong possibility that by the end of the day today, this side is gonna be complete. Alright, so it looks like there's lots of body filler here for no reason, like you can see here even. It's nice and smooth. I don't know why they have body filler, but anyways, that's gonna be another day when we're gonna strip everything. Like, we're gonna take the fender off when it's warm outside, we're gonna put it outside, and we're gonna strip all the paint, and then we're gonna deal with any dents or things that we might have here. But it feels, from inside it feels good, so I don't know why we have so much body filler. Anyways, so I'm gonna finish cleaning it here, and I'll see if I can repair this without taking it off the car, because it's easier for me here, I believe. Then we're gonna take it off and fix this dent here, straighten this area here a little bit, and yeah, this one we can fix even here. Oh, actually we might not need to take it off the car. Let me try and fix these two first. So first I'm gonna wire wheel them again to make sure to clean them up. Okay, well, that worked well. A little bit more and we're gonna be perfect here. Just, there's a big dent here, but I can't put a dolly there, can I? Kind of. Okay, that's more than good here. There was a word for it. Oh, better. So this we're gonna fix when we take the fender out. Here I want this line, I want to pull this line a little bit straighter. Now it makes a little ding here, little dip. But now I'm gonna try to fix this here while it's on the car. It's easier, like it is in the right height here and it is solid. I don't need to chase it around my bench. So let me make a patch for here. Good. Yeah. All right, good. You also filled some holes here that we left yesterday. Nice. All right, so Nicola welded and ground down this weld here, and it looks good. Like we lost a little bit this line. What do you want? Huh? We lost this line a little bit. We're gonna fix it. You want pets? I know. Okay. You happy now? You happy? So we're gonna have to like hammer it from inside out to pull this line out again. It warped during the welding, but here we're good. So that's done. And in the meantime, I ground this, and it took me a while. I had to use cutting disc, so that's how I went all the way. Like I went left and right until I reached all the way down. So looks good. And then at the end I dressed it with a die grinder. So now it looks good. Here we opened the big hole and we had to weld it, so it's a little mess, but that's fine. We're gonna fill it up with body filler. Here still there's a big low area. We're gonna pull it out with the stinger. Here there's still a high spot that we're gonna have to shrink with the shrinking disc, but that's gonna be some other time because for today we are done. Let me just close the door so we can see the whole car now. Let's look at the whole car. Yeah, that's... No, you can't grind it more because that's exactly what I was explaining. The step on one side, on this side, I don't see the weld anymore. So there's a little step we're gonna have to fill up with body filler. Okay. But she's finally complete. So it looks like a car again. Yay! Anyway, so now we have to take it out for the next 2 weeks, unfortunately. And for this reason, we're gonna paint again all the bare metal there, everywhere where we welded. And that's why I didn't want to strip the whole fender here, because we still have to take the car out, right? So we're gonna paint it again. And yeah, looks great if you ask me. Are you happy?
Yeah.
You happy?
Mm-hmm.
There's somewhere under here, there's ice. All right. Well, I think that's gonna be it for today, guys, for this episode. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait for another 2 weeks before we start working again. So we're gonna put together an episode just to show you that this car also is making some progress every once in a while. And stay tuned for more episodes. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for commenting and subscribing and sharing and supporting the channel. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.